So MLB The Show 23 is kind of in a rough spot at the moment. You know, you go through their comment section and you see replies like saying, what happened to Grind 99? The whole Grind 97 buy 99 meme. And then we have Scomo here saying every tweet overall as they keep going down. Content has not been great this year. Content has always carried MLB The Show, and this year it's really been a letdown so far. But the good news here is that it is almost set 3. It is only going to be July when set 3 comes out. So there is a lot of time to turn this game around and make content better for the future of this game. So we're gonna hop into Team Affinity. So with set 3 coming out here in 10 days at the time I'm making this video, Team Affinity is always the big focal point of every new set. And Team Affinity season 1 was actually pretty good. We got some good cards in here like Wander Franco, Bo Bichette, Yelich, Jock Peterson, Dustin May, etc. A lot of those cards were used on teams early on, but season 2 was really a letdown. The only cards I really saw used on a lot of teams was Lance McCullers here and then Porterhouse, which is Mike Napoli. But a lot of these cards really just were not good enough, and the captain boosts that we got in here as well were just not worth it. A lot of this stuff here in season 2 Team Affinity, the cards were just not good enough, and a lot of people just had no reason to grind Team Affinity unless they wanted to get some free cards for their set collections. So with the current model here of Team Affinity is in the captain cards we had here were 92 overalls. For example here, we'll look at Vlad Jr. And a big problem I have as well with these captains is to be able to use these cards at a tier 2 or a tier 3 boost is you have to parallel the card to parallel level 1. Now that's really not that much, but again, I don't think it's right that you should have to have a card at a certain parallel level to be able to use those certain boosts. It's just another reason for someone not to use these. You know, they don't want to have to go out of their way and parallel these guys up to a certain level to be able to use them. I just think it's really annoying. And for this card only being a 92 at tier 3, he gets plus 15 contact, plus 10 power versus right, and plus 10 batting clutch. If I'm using a 92 overall captain, and especially if it's just all Toronto Blue Jays hitters, that's just not good enough to compete with a God Squad level team. So your captains are 92, and then your henchman cards here, which were future stars cards, were 94 overall, 94 to 93. A lot of them, they just aren't good enough to compete with those God Squads. And even with a captain boost and stuff like that, like this Austin Wells card, he plays above a 93. He was one of the better ones, for example. But we look at someone like Ricky Tiedemann, these guys just don't have a pitch mix, or their stats just are not good enough to compete. A lot of these people, you know, they have Chipper Jones, they have Babe Ruth, they had Trey Turner, Mike Trout, etc. I can't tell you one time I've seen anybody rock into a ranked seasons game with a captain card that was other than Trevor Hoffman, David Wright, and maybe recently a Cal Ripken boost since they dropped some of those new captains. But I haven't seen anybody rock like an actual theme team, like say a Yankees theme team or Red Sox, Mets, Braves, like etc. I have not seen it once, but a lot of the time it's just because these boosts are not good enough. And then when we get to the end here of the program, Team Affinity, it is such a big grind, and to only get a 97 out of it, and the stats just are not that great. Like for example here, Eddie Murray, 94, 91 against righties, 108 clutch. Like for a first baseman, no one's using that card unless you're like a diehard Orioles fan. I come over here to Mike Napoli, and again, I have him P4, but look at those hitting stats. But those stats right there is what should be like a minimum for a lot of these cards. You know, make them very good, and then if you make these captain cards usable, you'll be more incentivized to maybe rock your favorite theme team, for example. So the way that I would fix this is instead of the captains being 92s, these henchman cards being 94s, and then your, you know, whatever the theme is for that season. So this time around it was incognito. Whatever season 3 is, I imagine it's going to be like all-star cards. Make those 99s. Make the captains 95s, and I would make these henchman cards 97s. You know, we are heading into July. This is like the meat and potatoes time of MLB The Show. Madden's right around the corner. This is their big selling point. You know, set 1 expires here in 10 days. You're only going to be able to use one card on your God Squad for ranked season. So whether that be Mike Trout, Trey Turner, Chipper Jones, Babe Ruth, etc., there's going to be a lot that's changing with players' teams. Set 3 needs to be good, especially Team Affinity, because if a lot of people, they see that half their team, for example, might not be usable for set 3, and then they come out with the same content style of 92 overall captains, 94 henchmen, and then a 97 that's just not that great, people are just going to quit the game. And when they see Madden coming out around the corner, people always leave for that game anyways. You're going to see a lot more people leave for that game too if set 3 is not good. My way to fix it: make these captains 95s with a little bit better boost, because no one wants to use a 92 overall captain in July. Make these henchman cards decent, you know, make them a 97, kind of like what these boss cards are here. So instead of, say, these future stars being 93, 94, make them 97, and then make these boss cards, give every team a 99 overall player. And with how 99s have basically only been in packs this year outside of ranked seasons and battle royale, I don't think it's going to hurt anybody giving each team a 99 overall here in July. Make the player base happy, and give everyone a 99 for Team Affinity 3. Another problem here too is the programs have been very, very bad in my opinion. You know, other than your monthly awards, those have been the only way to get a 99 overall card. And I'm not saying that everything needs to be a 99. That's definitely not true. But for a program like the Father's Day program, this was one of the worst grinds I have ever done in any video game. You know, you only had like 6 hitters, you needed to get 5,000 PXP, and the cards were just not good. You know, it's the same boring moments, conquest, and some PXP missions. And since there was no pitchers in this, it was all hitters. 5,000 PXP with like 6 cards took me forever, and they were 93s to 97. I'm sorry, but no one's using these cards on their team. Craig Biggio, 61 power. See ya, buddy. Kevin Biggio as well. I mean, why are we giving out 93s in a program like this? They just are not good enough, plain and simple. And you don't get the captain until almost the end of the program too, which is another thing I don't like as well. Ken Griffey Sr., he should be the first card that you earn in the program, so that once you get these cards along the way, you can add them into that boost. And then after all that grinding, you get a 97 Griffey at the end, which again, it's just not good enough, man. You know, for how much you have to put into it, you don't get enough out of it. I know in set 1 we had a 99 Griffey, but a good example of, you know, programs not being great is this Future Stars series that they dropped. To get Jason Dominguez, you need 150 stars. So you do your moments, your typical showdown, conquest, and then your PXP missions. It's a long grind, and Dominguez is the best card in the program, and we start off at 92 overalls. Again, we only have like 2 weeks left in this program, and you're giving us 92, a lot of 92s and 95s. There's only 3 97s in the program, and the only ones that even look kind of decent are Bobby Miller and Dominguez. And then these packs you get in here too, that's welcome to my show pack, they're set 1 cards, and the set ends in 10 days. I don't understand why this pack is in the program when these cards aren't going to be eligible to use in 10 days. So I just don't understand why that's in the program, especially when the rest of these cards are set 2 cards. But with a big grind like this, just make Dominguez a 99. You know, I'm not saying these cards have to all be 99s. And again, a problem here as well, you don't get Kopech and Kyle Tucker towards the end of the program, so you don't even get to use these cards with a boost until you pretty much finish it, which I don't agree with. This Kyle Harrison, again, this card's ass. I'm sorry, but this card stinks for how much of a grind it is. I'm not saying Dominguez needs to have Mickey Mantle stats or whatever. Not saying this card is bad by any means. He's definitely a decent card, but for how much you have to grind to get this card, it's just not worth it, you know, especially with how many good cards there are in the game. Just incentivize, put a 99 at the end of the program. It will provide a reason to grind out these programs. So the problem again with programs is it's such a long grind, and in the end, you don't get a good card for your team. So I'd like to see them bring back something we had in MLB 20, which is the All-Timers program. So this program, I think it was the only time it was introduced. You guys can see her at the end. You got a 99 Babe Ruth, 99 Seaver, a 96 Hoffman, and a 95 Longoria. And I believe how this program worked is you played each MLB team. They were kind of like 3-inning moments, I believe, and you just went through and you played all the moments. I think after completing so many games, you got a certain card or whatever, but at the end, you got a 99 overall Babe Ruth. It was 3-inning games against each MLB team. Then I believe it was a 6-inning game against an AL and then an NL team. And then the very last moment was a 9-inning game against a combination of like the AL and the NL. And at the end, you got the 99 Babe Ruth, and throughout the program, you got that Tom Seaver, Trevor Hoffman, etc. I would love to see something like that added back into MLB 23 here, say for set 3 or something like that. Give us a long all-star grind with some good 99s and some good cards throughout the program. Again, not saying everything has to be a 99, but at the end, at least put 1 or 2 in there to give them an incentive to put that time in to grind for a card like that. I know you guys, I might get flamed for this. Bring back even some type of immortal grind without the souvenir exchange. SDS, if you're listening, no more souvenir exchanges. A lot of people like playing CPU. They like playing Conquest. A lot of players don't even play online. They just like to acquire the card. If you gave us a program with say some big stat mission grinds or something like that, I would be down to do it. You know, I'm already grinding out these programs pretty much just for set collections. I would not mind whatsoever if there was some sort of stat grind that I had to do to unlock a position player or something like that. The grind sucks when you know at the end you're not getting a good player out of it for your team. Add some good cards into a grind like that, and I would totally be down to do it. Another hot topic of discussion is the amount of 99s that they put in packs. My take on this is I'm totally fine with them doing like the Kaiju takeover like they've done a couple times here. I think this is a really good idea because it adds incentives towards those packs, because in the past we haven't gotten anything, and if you didn't pull a 90 plus live series, packs were just not worth it whatsoever. From a business standpoint, it makes sense. You know, it gets people to buy packs, but the problem is there are no alternatives to these 99s, so that's why people are against it. Like I talked in my past there, if you added some 99s into Team Affinity, into programs, you gave a long program to grind out a 99, people wouldn't care. It's just the fact that these 99s, basically they're the only 99s that you can get, and people are calling it pay to win essentially, because the only way to get these good cards is if you buy them on the market or you buy packs. I'm totally down for this. I think this is fine. I think it adds value to standard packs essentially. You put some good cards in there, I'm totally fine with that. You have to provide an alternative, because if not, people aren't going to be happy with this content style for the rest of the year. And that goes into chase packs too. So like Joe Mauer right now is the chase pack reward. Chase packs, I'm fine with cards like Mantle and Mauer, you know, being these chase pack cards. They are supposed to be some of the best cards in the game. That's the whole point of a chase pack. It's just, again, there's no alternative. So people feel like they have to shell out money, they have to buy packs. And Joe Mauer, he costs like 280k. Mantle's like 400k, and they're the best cards in the game, which is fine. Like I said, they should be very good, because if they weren't good cards, they would not be worth it, and no one would want to try to pull these cards. You just have to provide alternatives. That way people don't have to go out and buy packs all the time. So just a little recap here before we end today's video. Add some 99s into Team Affinity, make the captains 95s overalls, and make the henchman cards 97s. Add some 99s at the end of the program and mix up the grind a little bit, so it's not always moments, a showdown, conquest, and PXP missions, and just be a little bit more consumer friendly. Again, at the end of the day, they are a business, they are trying to make money, but the player base is not happy right now. And with Madden coming around the corner in set 3, starting here in 10 days, they really need to make a statement, and they really need to come out big. The problem is, beginning of the sets have usually been pretty good. We've gotten some good cards, and the XP reward path cards have been pretty good, but after that initial launch of the set, the content just has not been great. So I'd like to see them continue to release good content throughout the set, so that it's not so top heavy and then we're left here for a month twiddling our fingers trying to figure out what the hell we're gonna do. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you guys next time.